Hey crew, so last video I talked about the Articles of Confederation and how they were basically just a firm league of friendship saying, hey, we beat Britain, we're, our own nation, but the states didn't really believe that they were their own united nation. They just saw themselves as individually having their own power. But as we get into the Constitutional Convention and writing the Constitution, they started to find out that that wasn't necessarily going to work out for the United States. So they started creating the Constitution, okay, based on this Constitutional Convention. So the delegates to the Constitutional Convention met in Independence Hall in Pennsylvania on May 14th, 1787. They planned to revise or fix the Articles of Confederation. It soon became clear that the delegates would need to throw out the Articles of Confederation and create a brand new frame of government. So this first question, what was the original purpose of the Constitutional Convention? And it was to fix the Articles of Confederation. And what happened to those articles is that they just got thrown out altogether. Okay. The delegates soon chose George Washington to be the president of what was later named the Constitutional Convention. The delegates worked, argued, and revised the Constitution for months. One of the biggest arguments was about representation. How should the states be represented in the legislative branch? Should all the states be allowed representation based on their population numbers? Was that fair for smaller states? So they had to decide, how would each state get a say in the government? Okay, that was one of their bigger arguments. So one of the biggest arguments was who would get, or how would they show representation? How would the states be represented? Okay. And then we can also answer who was the president of the convention. The president of the convention was George Washington. After a great deal of debate, the Constitution was approved by all of the delegates on September 17th, 1787. So they spent May, June, July, August, September. So nearly 5 months, just over 5 months writing this document that we've actually had since 1787. And in my opinion, that's pretty good. They weren't finished just yet. The delegates had to get approval of at least 9 states for the Constitution to become our new government framework. So what was required to make the Constitution a law? It was at least 9 states needed to approve. Some delegates would not approve or ratify the Constitution until individual freedoms were guaranteed by the Constitution. James Madison wrote amendments to the Constitution, of which the first 10 became the Bill of Rights. So James Madison added to the Constitution, he added 10 rights or amendments. For individual these first 10 amendments are now called the Bill of Rights. Okay, so this is what we needed to create our Constitution and what this Constitutional Convention looked like for them in 1787. I'm going to continue reading in our next video. We're writing the Constitution, and this is going to dive deeper into just exactly what these arguments were about, the state representation, how they went about talking about that, what they should do, and all of that good stuff. It'll dive deeper into our Constitution and creating it. So this is going to be what our videos are going to be based off for the next few. And this is just that background for you. All right, see you next time.